You are holding a trash bag filled with $20 bills. It weighs 15 pounds. You are sweating not because of the weight, but because you have been standing in line for 40 minutes, and in that time, the price of the loaf of bread you are trying to buy has just doubled. Welcome to the mathematics of zero. Most people think of economic collapse as a slow rot, a recession that drags on for years. But hyperinflation is not a recession, it is a heart attack. It is a kinetic event where the speed of your feet matters more than the size of your bank account. In this simulation, we are going to live through exactly 24 hours of a currency death spiral. We are taking the historical realities of Weimar Germany and Venezuela and applying them to a modern Western city. By the end of this timeline, you will understand why saving money is the fastest way to starve, and why a can of tuna is worth more than your retirement fund. Before the sun comes up, we need to set the ground rules. In a hyperinflationary event, the currency, the dollar, the euro, the yen, becomes a hot potato. It is radioactive. Every second you hold it, it burns value. The objective of today's simulation is simple. Convert paper into calories before the paper becomes confetti. This isn't about stock portfolios. It is about the logistics of hunger. If you want to survive the kind of financial violence that wipes out the middle class in a single afternoon, you need to understand the timeline. Secure your spot in this briefing now, because the markets are opening and the panic is about to start. 6 o'clock hours. You wake up to the glow of your phone, but the notifications are confusing. The official government news feed says the inflation rate is stabilised at 10%. But your neighbourhood group chat is screaming. A local mechanic is refusing cash for repairs. The corner bodega has covered its windows with brown paper. You check the black market exchange rate sites, the ones hosted on offshore servers. The graph looks like a hockey stick. While you were sleeping, the currency lost 30% of its purchasing power. Outside, the city sounds normal. Traffic is moving. But inside every house on your block, people are doing the same desperate math you are. You have $3,000 in physical cash in a shoebox. Yesterday, that was a month of rent. This morning, it might be 3 days of groceries. This is where the first wave of victims fails. They look at the official rate. They trust the anchor on the morning news who says, "Panic buying causes inflation." They decide to wait. They think, "I'll go to the store after work, when things calm down." This is a fatal error. In hyperinflation, there is no calm. There is only acceleration. By waiting 8 hours until your shift ends, you are effectively taking a 50% pay cut. The masses are currently drinking coffee and complaining about prices. They are treating this like a political problem, assuming Congress or the central bank will fix it by noon. They are wrong. The machine has broken, and the only person who can fix your personal economy is you, and you are already late. Let's talk about the velocity of money. In a stable economy, a dollar bill changes hands maybe once a day or week. In hyperinflation, velocity goes vertical. Everyone is trying to get rid of cash simultaneously. This creates a feedback loop that destroys value even faster than the printing presses can dilute it. Your strategy at 06 clock is immediate liquidation. You do not save cash. You do not hold cash. You look at your utility bills, your debts, your rent. If you have fixed rate debt, do not pay it yet. Inflation is about to wipe out the real value of that debt for you. Instead, you prioritise tangible assets: food, fuel, medicine. If you have electronic funds, you are transferring them to stable foreign currencies, or buying digital gift cards for retailers that sell physical goods. You need to be liquidating your local currency into stuff before breakfast. Here is the complication that 1923 Weimar didn't have. Algorithms. In a modern collapse, The banking algorithms will flag the sudden surge in transactions as fraud or systemic risk. You try to transfer your savings to a gold-backed ETF or a foreign account, and you get a system busy or account frozen for security review notification. This is the capital control phase, but it's automated. The banks are trying to stop the bleeding. Now, your debit card is a useless piece of plastic. You are forced back into the physical cash economy, but you didn't withdraw enough yesterday. You are staring at a screen that says you are a millionaire on paper, but you cannot buy a carton of milk because the point-of-sale systems are down or rejecting local cards. You are now digitally wealthy and physically destitute. 800 hours. You head to your workplace. You aren't there to work, you are there to negotiate. In Weimar, Germany, workers were paid twice a day. In our simulation, the boss is standing on a desk. He looks terrified. He tells the staff that payroll has been accelerated to daily cash dispersals. He opens a duffel bag. It's not neat stacks of high-denomination bills. It's a mess of small bills, ones, fives, tens. The banks have run out of $100 notes. You have to physically shove 3 inches of paper currency into your pockets, your socks, your waistband. The sheer volume of paper is shocking. It smells like old circulation, sweat, dirt, and desperation. Your co-workers are shouting, demanding to know why the adjustment doesn't match the morning's inflation index. A fight breaks out near the break room. You don't stay to watch. You grab your brick of paper and you run. Most people take their cash and try to commute home to secure it. They get on the bus or sit in traffic. They want to put the money in the safe. Wrong. The money in your pocket is melting ice. Every minute you sit in traffic, you are losing calories. By the time you get that cash to your home safe, it will buy 10% less than it does right now. The safe is not safe. The safe is a coffin for value. The failed reaction here is treating the money as a store of value. It is not a store of value. It is a hot coal. You must burn it immediately to get heat. The correct move is the supply run sprint. You have pre-mapped 3 locations within walking distance of your income source: a grocery store, a pharmacy, and a hardware store. You do not go home. You go straight to the nearest point of sale. You are looking for dense value. You are not buying lettuce or bread, fluffy items that spoil. You are buying canned meat, alcohol, batteries, and over-the-counter painkillers. These are the new currency. A bottle of ibuprofen will hold its value for 5 years. A stack of paper bills holds its value for 5 hours. You need to understand the concept of store of value substitution. You are converting the failing currency into a barter currency. You fill your backpack. You don't look at the price tags. Price tags are history lessons. They tell you what the price was an hour ago. Here is the glitch. You get to the counter with an armful of supplies. The total is 4 million units. You start peeling off $20 bills. The cashier stops you. They don't have a bill counter. They have a scale. They are weighing the cash because counting takes too long. But then, the manager shouts from the back, "They are refusing small bills. They only want the new red notes the government promised, or foreign currency." Your pockets are stuffed with ones and fives. They are legal tender, but the store refuses to take them because the time it takes to count them costs more than the profit on the sale. This is denomination rejection. You have money, but it's the wrong kind of money. You have to abandon the cart or offer to pay double just to get them to accept the inconvenience of your small bills. 11 hours, the mid-morning shift. You are in a big box store. The sound is distinctive, the rhythmic clack, clack, clack of pricing guns. It sounds like distant gunfire. Employees are moving down the aisles, stripping away old stickers and slapping on neon orange ones. You watch a can of soup go from $50 to $80 in the time it takes you to walk down the aisle. A woman ahead of you grabs a bag of rice. The employee reaches out and puts a new sticker on it while it is in her hand. She screams. This is the psychological breaking point. The illusion of stability is gone. The air conditioning in the store is off to save electricity. It's hot, it smells of panic, and the shelves are starting to look like a smile with missing teeth. Gaps are appearing where the staples used to be. Watch the people at the register. They are arguing. They are pulling up consumer protection laws on their phones. The shelf said 50, they yell. They demand to speak to a manager. While they argue for 5 minutes, the currency drops another fraction of a percent. They are fighting for a moral victory in an amoral environment. This is the sunk cost fallacy of time. Every second you spend arguing about the price is a second you aren't spending securing the next item. The smart survivors are silent. They pay whatever is asked. They don't wait for change. If the bill is 95 and you hand over 100, you walk away. The change is worthless copper and zinc anyway. Do not engage in friction. Friction slows you down. Now we move to calorie arbitrage. You need to calculate the cost per calorie. Fresh vegetables are a waste of capital. Low calorie, high spoilage. You are looking for density. Cooking oil, peanut butter, dried pasta. But here is the trick. Look for the items the panic mob ignores. In Venezuela, when food ran out, dog food became a luxury item. In this simulation, you might find the human food aisle stripped bare, but the bulk catering aisle or the pet section still has stock. You are buying bags of flour, sugar, and salt. Salt is critical. It preserves other food. It is the original money. You can trade a pound of salt for almost anything in week 2. Your goal is to secure 50,000 calories in this hour. If you can't carry it, you drag it. If you can't drag it, you guard it until help arrives. The store's inventory system fights back. The registers lock up. A limit has been triggered. 2 units per SKU per customer. You have 10 bags of rice. The machine won't process it. The cashier shrugs. She can't override the corporate algorithm. This is digital rationing. It prevents hoarding, which is exactly what you are trying to do. Now you have to make a choice. You can't just pay twice. You need multiple IDs, multiple faces. This is where the family swarm tactic comes in. You shouldn't be shopping alone. You need your partner, your kids, your neighbours. You split the load. You go through different checkout lanes. If you are alone, you are capped. The system is designed to keep everyone equally starving. You have to outsmart the code by acting as a distributed network, not a single shopper. 1400 hours. The golden hour of commerce is over. You walk past the pharmacy and the metal shutters are halfway down. A cardboard sign is taped to the front. Closed due to inventory adjustment. That's a lie. They aren't counting pills. They are holding them. The owners have realized that selling their stock for paper money is a losing proposition. They are hoarding the inventory for themselves or waiting for the black market rate to stabilize. The streets are different now. The frantic energy of the morning has turned into a sullen, dangerous loitering. People are standing on corners, holding bags, looking at their phones. The official economy has effectively ceased to function for the day. If you didn't buy it by noon, you aren't buying it from a store. The unprepared are banging on the shutters. They are waving wads of cash, offering double the price. The shopkeeper ignores them. Why? Because tomorrow that cash will be worth half. The failed reaction here is believing that money talks. In hyperinflation, soft money whispers. Then it goes silent. The people outside the pharmacy are making themselves targets. They are signalling 2 things. 1, they are desperate, and 2, they have cash. That makes them prey for the wolves who are watching from the alleyways. You do not bang on the door. You do not wave cash. You understand that the venue has changed. Welcome to the grey market. Commerce hasn't stopped, it has just moved off the books. To operate here, you need hard money. This is where your preparedness kit shines. Silver coins, foreign currency, euros, Swiss francs, small gold grams, or the ultimate barter items, ammunition, alcohol, and antibiotics. You are now looking for the side door. You are looking for the guy who knows the guy. The exchange rate here is brutal, but real. A silver ounce might buy you a week's worth of food. A box of 9mm ammo might buy you a tank of gas. You need to know the real price ratios. In 1923, a piano was sold for a sack of potatoes. You need to know if you are the guy with the piano or the guy with the potatoes. Be the guy with the potatoes. The complication in a modern grey market is trust. As soon as the official currency fails, the vacuum is filled with fakes. Fake silver, fake gold, counterfeit foreign bills. You meet a contact to trade a silver coin for insulin. How does he know your coin is real? How do you know the insulin hasn't been diluted or stored at the wrong temperature? Without the state to enforce contracts, every transaction carries a high risk of fraud or violence. You need a way to verify. A magnetic slide for silver. A jeweler's loop. If you are trading digitally using crypto, you are at the mercy of network congestion and power outages. The friction of trade becomes physical danger. You aren't just a shopper anymore, you are a merchant adventurer in a hostile zone. 1800 hours. The sun is setting, you are back home. You flip the light switch. Nothing. Or maybe a brown-out dim glow. The power company cannot afford to import natural gas or coal with the worthless currency. They are implementing rolling blackouts. The radiator is cold, the gas pressure is low. You look out the window. The street lights are off. The city is darker than you have ever seen it. The only light comes from the headlights of cars rushing to get home before total darkness. Inside your house, the temperature is dropping. You have food, but how do you cook it? How do you stay warm without burning the furniture? The average person sits in the dark, wrapped in a blanket, waiting for the power to come back on. They eat their food cold. They drain their phone battery, checking for updates on the grid. They are passive. They assume the infrastructure is immune to the financial collapse. It isn't. The guys who fix the power lines aren't coming to work because their wages don't buy gas to get to the depot. The utility fallacy is assuming that because you paid your bill last month, you get service this month. The social contract has been breached. You need to pivot to BTU economics. You are now a manager of thermal energy. You seal off one room, the warm room. You hang blankets over the windows and doorways to create a thermal envelope. You bring the whole family into this one room. Body heat is 100 watts per person. 4 people is a 400-watt heater. You break out the camping stove, but you only use it indoors if you have proper ventilation. Carbon monoxide is the silent killer of the prepared. You are cooking all perishable food immediately. That meat in the freezer? It's thawing. Cook it now, salt it, preserve it. You are converting raw spoilage risk into shelf-stable calories. You aren't burning money for heat like the Weimar cartoons. Modern money is polymer. It releases toxic fumes. You are burning scrap wood, old furniture, or using a kerosene heater you bought months ago. Then comes the secondary infrastructure failure. The water pumps run on electricity. As the grid flickers, the water pressure drops. The tap sputters and goes dry. Now you have a sanitation crisis. You can't flush the toilet. This is where disease vectors start. In a hyperinflation scenario, cholera and dysentery make a comeback because the water treatment chemicals are imported and the city can't pay for them. You need to have your water storage already filled. The complication is that your neighbours didn't fill theirs. They are going to come knocking, asking for a cup of water, then a bucket. You have to make the hard choice: charity or security. In a collapse, hygiene is the first defence line against death, and you are now the water treatment plant for your home. 2200 hours. The city is pitch black. But it isn't quiet. You hear glass breaking a few streets over. You hear sirens, but they are distant and moving away from your neighbourhood. The police are protecting the government buildings, the banks, and the wealthy enclaves. The suburbs and the working class districts are on their own. You are sitting in your warm room, listening. Every footstep outside sounds like a threat. You realise that your home is a warehouse of value in a landscape of poverty. The food you bought this morning, the fuel, the medicine, it makes you a target. The thin sheet of glass in your window is the only thing separating your family from the desperation outside. The amateur mistake is light discipline failure. Someone turns on a flashlight and beams it through the window to check the yard. Someone cooks with a bright lantern on. You are broadcasting your location and your resources. You are a lighthouse in a dark ocean, signalling, here is fuel, here is light. The other failure is sleeping. The exhausted family goes to bed trusting the locks. Locks are for honest people. Hungry people are not honest. They are motivated. If you sleep without a watch schedule, you are gambling with your life. You implement the two-up system. One person is awake and patrolling the interior perimeter at all times. Shifts are 2 hours long. That's all the human brain can handle before attention fades in a high-stress environment. You black out the windows completely. Cardboard, duct tape, blankets. No light escapes. You establish a fatal funnel at the entrance points. If someone kicks the door, they are forced into a narrow corridor where you have the tactical advantage. You aren't just hiding, you are actively hardening the target. You put bells or cans on the door handles, low-tech alarms. You have your defence tools staged, not locked in a safe, but staged. The goal isn't a firefight, it's deterrence. If they try the door and it holds, they move to the softer target next door. Here is the ugliest part of the timeline. The threat isn't always a stranger. It's the neighbour you've known for 10 years. The guy who borrowed your lawnmower. He knows you prep. He knows you have food. He comes to the door, begging for his kids. He isn't armed, but he is loud. He draws attention. If you help him, 5 other families will show up. If you turn him away, he becomes an enemy who knows your layout. This is the lifeboat dilemma. Hyperinflation destroys social trust faster than it destroys currency. You have to navigate this negotiation with extreme care. You give him a small amount of food, but you tell him it's your last bit. You lie. You have to lie. You project poverty while sitting on a stockpile. It is the only way to deflect the insider threat. Midnight. You have survived the first 24 hours. You have food. You have water. You are safe. But here is the reality check. Tomorrow is going to be worse. The inflation hasn't stopped. The currency you have left is worth half of what it was this morning. The shops will be emptier. The desperation outside will be louder. Hyperinflation is not a storm that passes. It is a climate change. It is a permanent alteration of the rules of life until the entire system collapses and is rebooted. You cannot pause. You cannot rest. You have to wake up at 600 and run the race again. But this time, the starting line has moved back and the hurdles are higher. We have only covered the monetary collapse. But money is just the lubricant for the machine. When the lubricant dries up, the gears grind to a halt. The next phase isn't about prices. It's about the cessation of all services. No police, no fire trucks, no hospitals. That is a completely different set of skills. That is total grid failure. If you want to know how to survive when the money is gone and the lights go out for good, you need to be here for the next briefing. We are going to simulate the first week of a total blackout. Secure your spot now, because the timeline is accelerating, and you are running out of time to learn. You survived the simulation. Now survive the reality. Equip yourself at the official supply depot. Because if the world is going to end, you might as well look prepared.